What is up, people, and welcome back to my Rags to Riches F1 2010 to 2014 career mode. This is the career mode where we go from one of the worst teams in F1 2010, work through the ranks and through the teams and try and get a drive for one of the best teams in F1 2014. We are currently in the 2011 season at round 15. I believe this is the Japanese Grand Prix, and we have some emails to look up before getting into today's race, some race information on the Suzuka circuit. So the team want me to get a 6th place in qualifying and 3rd in the race. I think that might be quite difficult as this is a circuit which I don't really tend to do well at. We did well in the 2010 season, but that was only because of a heavy rain qualifying session which got me pole position, and then I struggled in the race. But it's going to be heavy rain in practice, light cloud during qualifying, and clear during the race. We're just going to have to wait and see how we do there. Looking at the standings before we get into today's episode, we're currently in P5, which means that we will be driving for Williams in F1 2012, and we aren't too far away from Jenson Button, who currently holds on to that Force India seat. 9 points separates us two. So another good race from myself here today, and I could certainly catch up to Jenson Button, possibly even take that Force India seat with only a few rounds left to go. But without any further ado, we do actually need to change. No, we don't. We don't need to worry about that because we changed it after Singapore. So without any further ado, let's get into the race weekend for the Japanese Grand Prix. Here we go then. 1 shot qualifying time at the Japanese Grand Prix. We go down towards the line, DRS open, use all of our curves available to us, and away we go. Now, I'm not expecting a really good qualifying session here today. Japan is a circuit where I do struggle to maximize the speed, and just look at that. There we go, straight away running it very wide in towards turn 1. But it looks like we've recovered okay, and hopefully we can go on to set at least a decent lap. Let's at least go and beat our teammate of Rubens Barrichello. Okay, then a couple of corners left to go. We've just got 130R and the final chicane. The lap time so far is poor. 2 seconds already off the pace compared to the leaders. That is a terrible lap time. Even more, nearly 3 seconds off the pace of the pole time right now. But into the final chicane. That's a terrible final apex. Around the final corner. Down towards the line. What is the time gonna be good enough for? Will it at least beat the back markers? It does. But it is only good enough for 18th place here today. A whole second off the pace of Adrian Sutil. Really disappointing. Not the best of qualifying sessions here today, but we weren't really expecting anything truly spectacular because this is the Japanese Grand Prix, and it is a circuit which we do struggle at. So 18th place is probably the best that we could have hoped for. Unfortunately, though, we were a whole second slower than Adrian Sutil. Luckily, we were 2 seconds faster, more than that, 3 seconds faster than the guys behind us, or the back markers, so I'm not really too worried about those guys. Hopefully, we can pick it up in the race. We do tend to do better in the races than we do in qualifying, but this is Japan. And, yeah, I'm not too sure. I'd like possibly my target, I suppose, for the race is maybe to try and get 8th place. If I can get into the top 8, that would be a really decent result. But points is necessary. I need to at least score some points in today's race, as it is Mark Webber who lines up in pole position with Lewis Hamilton 2nd and Felipe Massa 3rd. So, what can we do in the Japanese Grand Prix? Will we score points? Let's find out as we head over to the race. It's race day here at the Japanese Grand Prix as we line up way down the field in 18th place, but the team still expect me to get a podium here today. I'm not too sure whether that's going to happen. I seriously doubt that I'm going to be able to score a podium here today, especially as there is no change of the weather at all. Let's have a look at the tyre strategy for today. I'm going to be starting on the primes, as I usually do, pick that alternative strategy and pitting for the options on lap 6 of this 11-lap race. Looking at the teammate battle, Rubens Barrichello just needs to out-qualify me once more, and he has beaten me on the out-qualified part of the teammate challenge. I have completely destroyed him on all the other parts, but I would still like to make it 5 out of 5. So just going to have to wait and see over the course of the season whether I can do that or not. Anything else really to talk about? I don't think so. So let's head down to the track and get today's race underway. Mark Webber is our pole man for today's Japanese Grand Prix. With Lewis Hamilton in 2nd, Jenson Button, my rival, in 6th, with my teammate Rubens Barrichello in 16th, and I am directly behind him out on track in 18th position on the grid. As Jeff's telling me about my fantastic result in the last race, it was a pretty decent result, but the lights coming on now. It's 5 red lights It's lights out and away we go for the Japanese Grand Prix. Going to use a whole lot of curves going down in towards turn 1. And let's see if I can get anybody up the inside in towards this very tricky corner. I'm going to take it nice and cautiously. Just watch all the other drivers maybe take each other out as I've run it very, very wide. I've now got our HRT on my right-hand side of Lotus. And I've gone, oh, I haven't gone into the back. I thought I was just going to pile straight into the back of Lotus there in towards that corner. And in towards the center, not the center S's, I don't know what S's they are. The S's of Suzuka as we go in towards the Dunlop curve now. That has been a terrible, terrible start to this race. I'm still in P18 as I have overtaken Adrian Sittil, but Liuzzi, has got past me, which is really, really annoying. Can I sail it up the inside into the second deck? No, not quite, but I may have an opportunity down in towards this hairpin as Liuzzi sort of moves over in the braking zone. That was a bit unfortunate. I've gone straight into the side of Buemi. Sort of gave him a touch. Very, very lucky not to get a penalty for that collision with Sebastian Buemi as I'm right behind Nick Heidfeld now. Going down in towards the spoon curve. Barrichello not particularly quick into this corner as I've nearly gone straight into the back of Nick Heidfeld, who's going to have a terrible line through the spoon. Hopefully I can pounce at him down in towards 130R, but I just don't think I've got the pace in this car. I'm not quick enough in a straight line as once again I'm going to follow in the slipstream. I need to be aware of the AI drivers backing off into 130R, which they have done. Nick Heidfeld's done that massively. I'm going to gain on him quite a bit into this corner. Dive it up the inside. Oh, Heidfeld! Don't break as late as me. That's my job. As we both completely mugged off Rubens Barrichello through that corner. And Nick Heidfeld kind of helped him to gain those positions there, which is a little bit unfortunate. I would have liked to get 2 positions into that one corner, but I will take the 15th place at the moment. I just can't get turn 1 right. I struggled so much last season, and I'm struggling again as now I've got Buemi going into the side of me as I rejoin the track. On the back of Rubens Barrichello as we go down in towards the hairpin. I dive it up the inside. He's going to do the switchback move on me if he can. Oh, that's a great move there by Rubens Barrichello. He saw me coming up the inside in towards the hairpin. He just says, sure, you can take that. And he just retakes me down on the switchback move. And he's gone, oh, Rubens, don't move in front of me, mate. We're teammates. Let's just battle. Let's just keep it side by side, nice and clean between the two of us. Still side by side. I think I've got a better exit on the run down into 130R. And there we go, finally taking the position away from Rubens Barrichello. Gaining so much on Nick Heidfeld in towards that braking zone, but messing up into the first chicane as there are a couple of drivers coming into the pits, including the Lotus Renault of Nick Heidfeld. That's going to push me up a few positions. I've got DRS from Nick Heidfeld, which will now be on Paul di Resta just up ahead of me. I need to try and get turn 1 right, which I think I have done this time. Probably not the best line, but at least I haven't run it wide. That's a little bit of a positive we can take from that. Despite the other drivers coming into the pits, I'm still actually gaining on Paul di Resta at the moment. So we go through 130R now. So look, 1 second behind the Force India driver right now. I believe he is probably coming into pits on this lap. So I don't think I'm going to have to worry about batting him too much. Yes, there he goes. Comes into the pits. So do a lot of drivers as well. I'm going to get DRS off Paul di Resta, and that's going to put me up into P4. Although I'm not going to be actually batting for this position. Okay, into the pits we go here on lap 6 of this Japanese Grand Prix. Flying into the pit lane from P4 out on track at the moment. Everybody else coming into the pits too. And I shouldn't have to worry about any drivers around me. But whereabouts am I going to come out on track? Has the overcut worked to my advantage, or has it hindered me? A 3.9 second stop, which is actually really quick on this game. Whereabouts is this going to put me though? I think it might bring me out maybe in the top 12 to come out at the moment in P10. Will we come out in front of this group of cars? Yes, we do. There we go. We are in the top 10, baby. What a in-lap that was, as we've now got a Sauber trying to go for the overtake on me, but couldn't quite pull it off there. And wow, what an in-lap that was. Up into P10 when we were battling for P14. That is incredible. I've got Sergio Perez, though, all up my gearbox. So he is certainly wanting to try and get past me. I'm going to do my best to try and defend from him, but how long can we do it for? There is a driver in the pit lane at the moment, so hopefully that should push me up into P9, which it does. There we go, up into 9th place. And it seems like we've lost the back of Sergio Perez as well, which is pretty good news. It means that I'm not battling with that guy anymore. I can just run my own race, and let's see if we can hold on to this P9. I'm only 1/10 off of Hamilton's fastest lap of the race right now. So whereabouts can we find that 1/10? Maybe down towards turn 1 because I'm still very, very shaky down towards that corner. I still don't believe I'm going to be able to overtake Nico Rosberg, but I did say top 8 was my goal for the race as I've run it into the grass. That's not what I want to do. But if I can get that top 8 position, then I would consider that a seriously good day. Nico Rosberg is within my sights at the moment. There's another driver just ahead of him, so I'm not too sure whether that's a back marker or whether that's P7. We'll just have to wait and see as this race continues. But so far, so good. A 1:32.1, so we've improved on that lap time, even though we ran it wide in towards this corner coming up. So possibly could have the chance of setting the fastest lap today as well. Still gaining with every single lap on both of these guys. Not too sure who they actually are. I know one of them's obviously Rosberg, but I'm not too sure who the other one is. We are gaining on that lap time set by Jenson Button. Can we get the fast lap on the race here on this final lap? That was a very, very nice line in towards turn 1. So we just have to wait and see. We are right on the back now of Nico Rosberg. So close onto the tail of this guy. And it's Vitaly Petrov. Vitaly Petrov currently running in P7. So can we get both of these drivers possibly down in towards the final chicane? We will just have to wait and see how it goes. But it's going to be very, very close between the three of us into the spoon curve. I'm not very good through this corner. I'm not good through this circuit for one reason. That's because my best abilities are probably into braking zones. That's where I can catch up quite a bit on the AI drivers. Nico Rosberg, though, can go for a move on Nick Heidfeld. That could really help me out. Unfortunately, he's not done that. In towards the chicane. I don't think I'm going to be able to close up enough as Lewis Hamilton wins today's race into the final 2 corners, right behind Nico Rosberg now, but unfortunately the exit is just not good enough, and unfortunately I'm going to have to come across the line for 9th place at the end of the day. It's a decent result in my point of view, starting from 18th on the grid at a track which I'm pretty surprised that I scored points here today. I don't tend to do well at the Japanese Grand Prix, but 9th place today, 2 points, is still pretty decent. And it still helps me out in the championship. It's just unfortunate that Lewis Hamilton won today's race. But it's about time, however, that driver won a race in this season. He's had a horrible season this year. And it's no surprise he is behind us. But he could definitely close up the gap with those 25 points. I think it's actually going to be very close between the two of us now. We just have to wait and see. Mark Webber, he finished in 2nd with Felipe Massa 3rd. Sebastian Vettel 4th. Jenson Button 5th. Fernando Alonso finished in 6th with Vitaly Petrov 7th, Nico Rosberg in 8th with myself in 9th, and Michael Schumacher getting the final championship point here today. My teammate Rubens Barrichello finished in 17th place, and there were 2 DNFs, which were Sergio Perez and Narain Kartikeyan. So not a good day for either of those 2 drivers. But let's have a quick little look at how this all affects the Drivers' Championship. And we're still in 5th place, which is good news. We are still in that Williams seat, but we are only 4 points ahead of Mark Webber. And Lewis Hamilton is also closing up the gap, so he could demote us down in towards that Toro Rosso seat. We're just going to have to wait and see how this rest of the season pans out. Unfortunately, we have lost ground to both Felipe Massa and Jenson Button as Fernando Alonso holds on to his championship lead. And the Constructors' Championship now, Ferrari still lead the way. We are still ahead of Mercedes GP. They've gained on us just a little bit by 2 points here today, but that's not really going to make too much of a difference going in towards the end of the season. But if we have a terrible race and they get a really shocking result of like podiums and stuff like that, then they could certainly be challenging us for that 4th place in the Constructors' standings. So we'll be hoping to maybe try and hold on to that position. But that is it for today's Japanese Grand Prix. Let's head back to the menus. No interviews after today's race, but we do have one email that's going to be a contract offer. No, it's good news. And so Sir Frank Williams, he's very pleased with my performance. Okay, that's not too much of a surprise. I mean, we are in a Williams, and we're currently 5th in the standings in a Williams that should be way down in wherever Rubens Barrichello is, down in 18th. So that's pretty much where we should be. So to be in 5th place is absolutely fantastic at this stage of this season. Hopefully, we can challenge with Felipe Massa and Jenson Button across the last couple of races to get that Force India seat. But I'll still be pretty happy with a Williams seat for next season. Williams and Force India, they are very, very close in terms of the vehicle performance. So yeah, if it's Williams, it's still good, whereas Force India, they just managed to score more points in the actual 2012 season, and that is why they are higher above Williams. Yes, the standings one more time, we're still in 5th place, we're in that Williams seat still, so we'll be hoping to try and hold on to that and yeah, at least get Williams. We do not want to drive for Toro Rosso because they are worse. They are worse than Williams in 2012, so we do not want to drive for Toro Rosso. Anything else really to talk about? Not really. So that is going to be it for today's Japanese Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash a like on today's video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so for daily Formula 1 content, and I will see you next time. In the next episode, the South Korean Grand Prix. We didn't have a good race last season in the F1 2010 season, but this time around, I reckon we can certainly do a better job tomorrow. But until then, it's goodbye from me.